Hey, what's up guys? It's Ree. Welcome back to the fifth and final part of Let's Play Mega Man 2 Atomic Fire Only. Yes, this is the final part. I'm going long. I'm going to do the whole of Wily's Castle in one sitting because I don't think it's going to pose such a gigantic threat. Certainly not to the same degree as the first game's Wily Castle did, because that Wily Castle was hard, particularly when I was using the rolling cutter there. That was pretty nuts. So yeah, I already explained about the leaf shield last time, so let's go back to the stage select, which isn't actually going to take us back to the stage select. Instead, it takes us to the screen automatically where Dr. Wily appears in his classic flying saucer, blue in this game. It'll stay blue for the rest of the series, and it's a little more round, and he gives us the classic eyebrow waggle as well. Ah, gotta love that waggle, sinister waggle. And we actually get to see Dr. Wily's castle, like a nice artistic picture of it in this game, which we didn't get in the first game. It's very nice. And a little music intro too, as well as a little map showing us where we're going through the stages. So yeah, here we are, switching out to the Atomic Fire, of course, as you do. Now it should really go without saying that the music is absolutely iconic for the first two Wily stages here in Mega Man 2. It is the most famous piece of music in the entire franchise, let alone just classic Mega Man. Everyone knows it. It's all over all, you know, the best 8-bit music lists and stuff. Anyways, a Dr. Wily symbol here, pretty funny, since I guess, you know, we're in his castle, but it's not before a boss, you know, it's a bit of a new thing. You have to use an item to get over this wall here. Oh, let's try that again. Let's try that again. No, no. There we go, finally, bloody hell. That's not so good. These things here in the background, they remind me a bit of computers. Look at them, almost like a robot head. It's pretty funny. Oh dear, we got these little squirmy enemies from earlier. I do like the fence background too, and the nighttime setting is rather nice. It reminds me of the background in a Lekman stage a bit. Oh, we've got to deal with using items again. So yeah, if you didn't figure out what the items do in the Robot Master stages, you pretty much have to figure it out at this point. But of course, you also have to have the items by this point, so it's perfectly understandable that they make them compulsory. So yeah, you can use item 3 here. It's a bit easier than item 1. That's how item 3 works. If I didn't show that off, I don't think I did show item 3 off. Basically, it just, you know, sticks to walls and goes up them. It's useful in some cases. It's only ever more useful than item 1 when you have like cramped shafts like this that it's sort of hard to fit item 1 into. But you know, there we go. It's not really that bad. I find it kind of weird how we have these sort of holes going outside the building there, like a window, since you can't jump through them. I mean, I guess they're just for aesthetics, but it's always struck me as a little bit strange. Let's see if we can make the jump. Oh my goodness, that jump is actually really hard to make, not even kidding. That's like 1 in 10 chance of making, usually, for me. And even though we're on top of the building, it just sort of looks like we're on a ground level here, and we can't really go back to the left, but hey, whatever. Climbing up here. Now this screen gave me a lot of trouble the first time I played Mega Man 2. Because you'd expect, oh hey, this is going to be a disappearing block puzzle like Heatman stage. But nope, you've got to use your items. And unfortunately, you can't get item 2 up high enough to make it to that ladder. So you've got to make clever uses of item 1 instead. And you can only have 3 item 1s out at the same time. So you've got to be wary of that factor. You can shoot one from lower down on the ladder down there. That's the trick to it. Although you can still get up here from the top of the ladder down there. It's just a fair bit harder. These tellies, you can just climb past them. Those poor tellies. I always feel so sorry for them. But with that, we've reached the top of the wall and we're now officially entering Dr. Wily's castle proper. And as we go in, we enter the dark abyss, as it were, of these platforms. And I'm going to start charging. And once we get to this point, oh my goodness, it starts auto-scrolling. Oh my god, it's a dragon and I'm dead. Oh my god, that was a fast respawn. Never seen a respawn that fast in Mega Man. Well, after that embarrassing incident, that is indeed the boss of the stage, the Mecha Dragon, who chases us down in an auto-scroller. And can I make it? No, I failed at that time. Well, at least I made it one time, showed off I could do it. But yeah, Mecha Dragon chases us down in an auto-scroller until we finally get the Battle Royale at the end of it. And I can't believe I died at the Mecha Dragon. I'm losing concentration, that's the only explanation, because I never died at the Mecha Dragon. That is just not a thing. Not a thing, my friends. Oh, it's pretty annoying, because if you run out of item 1 there, you've got to go back and farm for more energy. Either that or purposefully game over, which isn't exactly easy, because there's not really any pits around here. So yeah, that's the most annoying part of this stage by far. The rest of it's not actually that bad, except maybe the Mecha Dragon. I must admit, I'm pretty impressed by the Mecha Dragon's sprite work. It's a very big, impressively detailed sprite for a NES game. They definitely put a fair bit of effort into that. Look at that thing. I also like that he looks kind of derpy. He's got like those tiny wings, yet somehow he flies, and he's got that funny facial expression. Anyway, here we go, we're fighting him, and it looks like the atomic fire does damage him. I'm just gonna try and rapid fire him to death. I was about to say rapid fire him to death, but then I fell to my own personal demise. That was embarrassing. No, seriously, I never died of the Mecha Dragon. This is really weird. I mean, shooting the atomic fire uncharged is pretty similar to the Mega Buster, so it's pretty similar to what I'm used to. So I really don't know why I screwed that up. And I made the epic jump again. Wow, I can't believe I've done that twice now. It's actually really hard, I'm not kidding. But yeah, I don't know if using charge shots would be worth it. I should have been charging one up as I went. I actually meant to do that, but I forgot. And oh no. You know what I just did? I just screwed myself. I just accidentally used item 1 the wrong way, and now it's physically impossible to make it. I need more weapon energy. Luckily, there is some not too far back behind this guy. I'll have to take a few hits, but that's not that important. The main danger with the Mecha Dragon is falling down. The health isn't really that important, to be perfectly frank. No, missed it. Yeah, you really gotta be pretty much pixel perfect there. There's only just enough room for you to make it without running into the Sniper Joe. It's not the greatest, not the greatest. And this time, let's face the right way, please. Thank you. And 3 platforms, and if you do it from the bottom, you can actually get a 4th one out, because the first one will despawn in time for you. So that's another reason why it's easier just doing it from the bottom of the ladder down there. Anyways, this time, actually focus on doing a good job. Let's get a charge up, and I'm gonna concentrate this time. No shenanigans, right? 1 jump, 2 jump, 3 jump, 4 jump, 5 jump, 6 jump, 7 jump, 8 jump, 9. Oh my god, I didn't. Oh, what was that? What was that? I didn't think I made that 8th jump, so I didn't jump on time for the 9th jump. I actually thought I died early. What the hell is this? It must be the Let's Play curse. It has to be. What was that, like my 3rd death? Yeah, that was my 3rd death. Holy crap, like literally, I do not die on the Mega Dragon like 80% of the time. Like not I don't die even once 80% of the time against the Mega Dragon. So this is unprecedented. Literally unprecedented. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. But I'm out of item 1s, so that's a bad situation. Then again, I am also on 0 lives, so if I die this time, it's back to the start of the stage anyway. Oh goodness, this is not a great start to the finale of this game, is it? Okay, I need to focus again. Just gotta stay calm and collected. Right, let's do it. Oh gods, why am I cutting it so close to these jumps? That was like nearly falling to my death on that one. Okay, let's fire this shot to start with. And that did a good chunk of damage, but I'll just use uncharged shots for the rest. So yeah, you want to stand on the top platform. That way, if he knocks you off, you fall down to the lower platform down there. But yeah, he has no invulnerability frames, so you can pretty much spam him to death quite easily. The quick boomerang is his quote-unquote weakness. I say that because it still only does 1 damage, but it's the fastest firing weapon, and he doesn't have any invulnerability frames, so it takes him out very quickly, and not really any of the other weapons do such a great job against him, so. Heading into the 2nd stage now. Same music, that same classic, beloved music, and I'm on 0 lives. This rather scares me quite a bit. I really like the spinning things down there. They remind me of like that radiation symbol, like that symbol they use to warn for radiation, like, or infectious agents. Reminds me of that a little bit. I don't know if you've seen that symbol before. Anyway, I'm gonna try and get this energy here for my item 1. Yeah, I thought I'd take a hit for it, but that's okay. Yeah, these prop tops, they're pretty annoying, and we actually have another forced use of an item here. Okay, I just scroll them off. We have to use item 2 to cross this giant bed of spikes. Do not jump at the first ladder. I will repeat that. The first ladder is a decoy. You want to wait till the 2nd ladder and jump up, and you get an IC tank. Bit of a fun fact, you can actually go over those walls there. You don't even have to blow them up with a crash bomb. If you just use like item 1, you can actually jump over them. There's nothing solid above them. Pretty cool. I never go that way though, so I'm not even sure if I've tested that myself. I've just heard it. Because like I said, I pretty much never go up there. But yeah, for going this way, we get all the rewards. We get an E-tank, a life, a bunch of weapon energy. If you use the crash bombs, you can get another life and another E-tank there. It's nuts. Oh! Wow. I thought I would be able to make the jump with my vulnerability frames. This is not going well. This is not going well so far, at all. Like, it is the Let's Play curse. I swear. Like, I swear it's the Let's Play curse. I'm not this bad at Mega Man 2. Oh no, I just realized. Oh no, I refilled my item 2, that's right. Of course, I was about to say I'll have to farm for item 2 energy, but no, it's all good. They gave me that generous refill, and it looks like I'll have enough to make it. Yep, here we go. Bit of a fun fact, you can actually glitch out the Airman fight, and it'll take you to like a glitched out version of this stage. But the thing is, you get item 2 for defeating Airman, so you don't have item 2 to cross that big pit of spikes. It is possible to make it by damage abusing and using item 1, but yeah, it's pretty bloody hard from what I've seen. Haven't actually tried it out myself though, admittedly. There we go, that time I made the jump with the invulnerability frames. And we're at the checkpoint now, so I'm happy about this. Unfortunately, we get Metal Man rearing his ugly head again by giving us these mole drills again. Luckily, they're not too awful. I mean, I can just damage abuse them a fair bit, but I don't want to take too much damage. The boss of this stage is actually quite tough. Yeah, a lot of Metal Man orientated stuff here. We got these presses as well. And good thing I still have a fair bit of item 3 because you kind of need it here. You can still get up there with item 1, I believe, but again, very awkward, very awkward. Oh, wrong weapon. Let's get that atomic fire out. You've probably noticed that thus far these Dr. Wily stages don't actually rely on using weapons very much, so regardless of whatever rule I made, like, you know, quick boomerang only, air shooter only, regardless of that rule, I still wouldn't be using my weapons very much. This is why I wouldn't think it would be that much of a big deal to do this Wily's Castle atomic fire only, because it really is a lot more platforming challenges than it is enemy challenges. But here we have the boss, a rather unique one, Pico Master. One of those rare times you drop into a boss fight. Basically, the walls attack you. They just come out and form a Pico unit, as I guess I'd call them. And it looks like a half charge is enough to kill them, so I've got to focus on doing that. Unfortunately, they do a gigantic amount of damage. Oh dear, that's not good. I'm going to use an E-tank, actually. I think this is my first time using an E-tank in this game, but I didn't really have any rules put down to say I couldn't use E-tanks, so there you go, I used one. Hopefully, I can still beat this boss, the rest of this boss without getting hit, because they do a ton of damage, these things. It's like 8 damage, I think, maybe 10 damage even. Oh, yeah, that looks like 8 damage on my health bar. No, actually it might be 10. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, Bubble Lead is the weakness for this boss. Takes each of these units out in one hit, but Metal Blade works really well, too, because you can shoot it upwards at them. You know, you can choose your poison, really. And I don't like how the blocks don't end up symmetrical here. You see there's one missing from the upper left there that stops it being symmetrical. This bothers me very much. Very much does. So yeah, heading into the third Wily stage now. It's actually one of the shortest ones. It's a very basic stage, really. It's easier than the first two, which is kind of surprising. And unfortunately, the epic music of awesomeness from the first two Wily stages is officially gone. And ironically enough, it gets replaced with what I would consider one of the worst pieces of Mega Man music ever composed. It's just a repetitive track that keeps on getting a bit higher and higher in pitch to the point that it becomes pretty much ear-piercing, and you know, it's just a really awful piece of music, to be honest. One of the few pieces of Mega Man music that I genuinely think is bad. Probably like the only one, actually. I mean, there's some pretty Mega Man music, but I don't think any of it is truly bad except this one. I don't know, I mean, if you like it, that's up to you, but hey, whatever. Oh yeah, giant metal fish, just, you know, casually jumping over them, whatever. Yeah, this is the other water stage of the game. The only weapons that can kill those giant metal fish are the quick boomerang, and yeah, that's the only one, actually, quick boomerang. So, that's an interesting property. And now we have the only tough part of the stage, spike drop. You've got to be careful where you're falling, rather like Quickman stage, except you can't touch the walls at all. You're bloody well dead. It's almost like we're in a sewer here. It's very ugly water. A very ugly stage in general, and combined with the ugly music, it's just not a very good stage overall, to be perfectly honest. And rather dull too, because we are actually pretty much at the end of it. Once we get past these enemies, that's pretty much it. Yep, that's all. Very surprisingly short. Not the shortest stage in the game, actually. There is a stage later on that is shorter. And oh my goodness, it's Gutsman. Yep, this is the Guts Dozer, as it is so called, based on Gutsman's design from the first game. As I said, Dr. Wily seems to be obsessed with Gutsman's design, just like the way he was going to mass-produce Gutsman at the end of Mega Man 1. And just like we had Mets in Gutsman's stage, the Guts Dozer here shoots Mets. I mean, they fit with the construction-y theme, I guess, or the mining theme that was in his stage, so there we go, that wasn't too bad. The fully charged shots seem to do quite a bit of damage. Of course, his eye is the weak spot. With so many Mega Man bosses, the eye is the weak spot. At least when it comes to the larger Mega Man bosses. You just have to get on the front of the Guts Dozer and jump up. The Quick Boomerang works best against him as well, like the Mecha Dragon, since it's rapid fire, although in that case it actually does do a little extra damage. I believe it does 2 damage per hit. Now we're heading into the 4th Wily stage, retaining the same awful music, and it's very purple, which I can appreciate, because purple is my favorite color. Definitely want to make sure you're refilling your items as you go through these stages, because you do need them quite a lot. And this is probably the most vertically ascending stage after Crash Man. There's a rather long segment here at the start where we climb up, which is rather nice. And it also introduces to you what you might consider a cheap gimmick if you don't know what you're doing. But it is invisible holes, like that one. I know where pretty much all of them are, and you might consider it cheap that you pretty much just can't know where they are, but there actually is a way of finding out where they are, and so for the sake of demonstration, I'll show it. If you get the bubble lead out and you shoot it, the bubble lead will fall down the invisible holes, and you can use that, as you can see, to find exactly where they are. And I already know where they are, so I'm not really cheating by doing that. And yeah, by navigating around that, you can drop down here and get yourself a free 1-up, which I actually do want, because I'm not on many lives, am I? No, I was on 0 up to that point, so that's definitely a good thing. Overall, this stage is pretty damn infamous for being very hard. I'd argue that for a first-time player, this is the hardest Dr. Wily stage, and arguably the hardest stage in the entire game. I mean, I don't know, it depends how much trouble you have with Heatman and Quickman stages. The main reason for that isn't just the stage itself, which is still rather tough on its own merits. It's mostly the boss. This stage has what you might wager the worst designed boss in Mega Man history. It's not great, but I'll explain it when we get there. For now, we have a Death Spike invisible hole here. The hole is actually right in front of me here. That one tile there, the third one from the right, the third tile from the wall. So as you can see, I can actually stand here. So yeah, it's that tile right there. And again, you could use Bubble Lead to figure that out, or you could use Item 2 to fly over it and not even take the risk. This E-Tank, you need Item 1 to get. So in the spirit of keeping things atomic fire only for the most part, I won't get it. You just put an Item 1 here, it floats up in this little hole here, and then you can grab the E-Tank, it's no big deal. I mean, I have 3 E-Tanks anyway, I'm not too worried. But yeah, there's the end of the vertically ascending part, and as part of the gimmick for this stage, we actually now climb down the other side. So yeah, we're pretty much going full circle now, and now we're actually inspired by Crash Man's stage. I mean, we had some inspiration from Metal Man's stage and Wily Stage 2, now we're doing the full Crash Man. Following these tracks around, as you saw, you can just make that long jump on the first screen and get past all those tellies, no real problem. This screen, you gotta jump off this platform early, do not go around that way or it'll just knock you off into the spikes. It's pretty devious, pretty damn devious, but once you figure that out, once you figure it out forever, you're never gonna fall for that one again. And the checkpoint was at that part where we started descending, so it's like only 2 screens back really. Here, if you're not using a weapon that can aim, you pretty much just have to take the hit, which is kind of annoying. So you could use the Leaf Shield or the Metal Blade to take care of those original couple of guys, but for me, I don't really mind taking the hits. It's only a couple of damage anyway. A couple of hits of damage. Ooh. Didn't want to get hit there, but hey, whatever. We come down here to the final screen of the Crash Man platforms. This one's actually the toughest if you, or the toughest in my opinion if you don't use an item. You can use item 2 to get right across here, but you cannot actually make the jump without using an item, and it's, yeah, it's a pretty tricky one to time, so I'll go now. I guess actually it's not that bad. Maybe the third screen's worse, I don't know. And lastly, we have to deal with Sniper Joe Walkers. Now, we actually have an enemy up ahead here who is physically impossible to avoid taking damage from, unless you use the atomic fire. So, how convenient that that happens to be the challenge run I'm doing. So, all you do is fire it, and you hit him. Yeah, you can't kill that guy fast enough before he shoots you, and you can't dodge his attacks because the roof is too low. So yeah, atomic fire is the only weapon that can kill him fast enough before he starts shooting. Pretty cheap, to be perfectly frank, but this whole stage as a whole is kind of cheap. I don't know. You can find the holes with bubble lead, and you can use the metal blade to help you with the tellies on the Crash Man inspired screen, so it's really not so bad. It's when we get to the boss here that things become downright awful. For this boss, I won't be using atomic fire whatsoever, because atomic fire cannot be used to attack this boss. In fact, the only weapon that can be used to damage this boss is the Crash Bomb. That is the only weapon that even physically damages the boss. Now, we only have 7 Crash Bombs, and there are 5 parts of this boss you have to hit. And in addition to that, there are also a bunch of Crash Bomb walls, and you can only destroy 2 of them, because there's the 5 parts of the boss, and the 2 Crash Bomb walls. So you have to have a full bar of Crash Bomb going into this battle, and you have to use every single one of it effectively. So this is how it works. I'll just show you off methodically how it works, the ideal way of fighting him here. Okay, so you start with the item 1s, get up here. This is the hardest one to take down, so you want to take him down first. So they fire shots like that after a little while, and they're pretty much impossible to dodge, so don't bother. And you hit that guy with the Crash Bomb. Okay, hit this wall with the Crash Bomb. You can't avoid hitting this wall with the Crash Bomb, it has to be done. And you hit this guy. Okay, wait for it. And they fire. And you jump up and hit this guy. Drop down here. This wall here you also cannot physically avoid hitting. You've got to hit it. And oh god, I'm only on 2 health, so I'm going to use an E-Tank. I don't want to risk dodging the shots. Because if you die to this boss, you have to farm your Crash Bomb back up again. Because you absolutely need it to defeat this boss. Alright, there we go. I took the hit. That's okay. Use item 3 to get out of here. And then when we get up here... Crash Bomb here. That didn't kill him instantly, unfortunately. But there we go. That's how you take him down. These Crash Bomb walls will stay destroyed. So, even if you die, that is. So what you can do is you can take out all 5 of them on the first go, kill yourself, go farm more Crash Bomb energy, come back and kill the boss really easily. So that's the 2 attempt way of doing it. The easier but more time consuming way. The way I just did it is the faster, more efficient way. And it's pretty much the only way of doing it. There is a bit of an exploit where you can hit one of the walls and one of the turrets at the same time, but in terms of legitness and the way the boss is intended to be fought, the way I just did it is the ideal way. You do need to use at least one item 1 in that method in order to do it, or actually, no, I think you need to use at least 2. 1 to get up initially and 1 to get out of the bottom right corner. But yeah, it's a pretty cheap boss because there's pretty much no way you're beating it the first time, because you don't know that you need Crash Bomb to beat each of the turrets, so you'll probably go in guns blazing using Crash Bomb on all the walls and run out of weapon energy, and then you're completely screwed. It's a very stupidly designed boss, which could have been done better, because it's a creative idea. They just didn't handle it well, that's the problem, and that's definitely one of the biggest roadblocks for someone playing this game for the first time. I know I was stuck on Wily Stage 4 for a very, very long time the first time I played this game. But here we are, Wily Stage 5, and haha, this introduces yet another tradition for the series, the classic boss rush. You see, in the first game, we just had the good old fight the bosses in a particular order, and we had 2 Robot Masters in the first stage, or second stage rather, and then the remaining 4 in the 4th and final stage of the game. Here in Wily Stage 5 of Mega Man 2, we just take down all 8 at once, and we actually have a choice of what order we do them through each of these teleporters. As you can see in the background, it says Dr. Wily Teleport System. However, you can't actually know who's in each teleporter without actually testing it, so there is still a certain degree of randomness to this if it's your first time playing. However, each Robot Master is specific. Like, the same Robot Master will always be in the same teleporter, so once you have it memorized, you know exactly who you're fighting, and luckily I do have it memorized. So how about we take down the, I don't know, I was going to say take down the easiest Robot Master first, but actually no, I'm at full health, so I want to take down a tougher one. Let's take on Quick Man first, who's in this teleporter. He's going to be probably the hardest one. Let's get our full charge going. The terrain here is actually flat, unlike the original Quick Man boss fight, which makes it arguably easier, I feel. It's sort of harder to dodge the boomerang sometimes, but yeah, I'd wager that it's easier overall. And there we go, we took him down. It wasn't too bad, but it did take a fair bit of damage. So who's going to be nice and easy to give us a health refill? Because yeah, unlike the Robot Masters in the first game, these ones actually drop health for you after you beat them. That would have been so useful in the 4 Robot Master Rush in the final stage of the game in Mega Man 1. I mean, it's just another one of those things that makes Mega Man 1 so challenging for so many people. I guess we'll take on Metal Man next. It's pretty easy. Why not? I'm just doing this in whatever order, you know, screw numerical orders and stuff. Let's just do whatever is easiest for me. And oh, I forgot, jumps to the other side. Yeah, no conveyor belt for Metal Man this time. So again, it makes him a fair bit easier than he was the first time. So yeah, in that regard, this boss rush is overall easier than if you actually just had to fight the original bosses in quick succession. Oh, geez, I'm not doing a great job at dodging these metal blades, am I? I was doing a better job, I think, the first time I fought him with the conveyor belt. I mean, the conveyor belt does add its own dynamic to the boss fight, and it's the way I'm used to fighting him, so fighting him in this rematch like this, it's almost more awkward in a way. Oh, geez, keep missing. Come on, man, don't jump so high. There we go. One more hit ought to do it. And nope, didn't hit him. That's okay. Full charge going. Nope, that didn't work. Alright, come on, man. There we go. That's the short hop I was looking for. That's what I was looking for, Metal Man. Still not on full health, so I guess we'll take on another easy one. Let's do Flashman, who's up here in the top right corner. Yeah, the order is pretty nonsensical. I mean, Flashman is on the bottom of the stage select screen, but he's at the top of the boss rush teleporters. There isn't a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it, really. Oh, he didn't actually hit me there. That was surprising. And, yeah, again, just flat terrain here, unlike the original boss fight, which, again, makes it sort of easier. I mean, it was easier to jump over Flashman if you had a height advantage over him in the original fight, but it's still pretty easy anyway on a level playing field like this, so it doesn't really matter. Nearly at full health again. Let's do Airman, I guess. Airman isn't so bad. I remember I just spammed him to death with the uncharged shots. No big deal. Just dodge that, and look, he's not actually giving me the impossible to dodge patterns this time. He gave me 3 dodgeable ones. That's very nice. Very nice of you, Airman. I appreciate your cooperation in this affair. Come on, get him. Now I can hit him like that. That one is physically impossible to dodge, that pattern, but you can always shoot underneath the air shooter tornadoes in that attack, so it's actually quite useful for getting some hits in on him. But yeah, it's pretty stupid how there's a physically impossible attack to dodge from Airman. It really is pretty dumb. There's still some kinks and level design issues in this game that carry over from the first game. I feel like things got a bit better in Mega Man 3. I mean, Mega Man 4, I think, arguably, probably is the first game which really sort of perfects not having stupid, dumb crap like that in it. But even then, I don't like Mega Man 4 as much as I do 2 and 3, as is the case with a lot of people. I don't know. It's still a good game overall. I mean, all Mega Man games are good. I mean, we'll talk about my opinions in that game when we get to it. But anyway, yeah, here's Woodman. Take that down. Good. I managed to time it just right before he put that leaf shield back up and blocked my shot. There we go. Nice and easy. Almost at full health again. So, we got 3 left. Let's take on Crashman next. Why not? He's actually in the bottom right, just like how he is on the stage select screen, which is interesting. And, how did I fight this guy again? Was it just the half charges? I mean, I'm still doing the same traditional pattern of going underneath him. I mean, this seems to be working. I remember things went much worse for me the first time round. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing different, but hey, this is working out well enough for me. So, it looks like we'll be getting back to full health after this, which is very nice. Very, very nice. There we go, that's 3 damage. It's almost like a charged Mega Buster shot from the 4th game onwards. Anyway, the 2 Robot Masters left. I deliberately left these 2 because they're the 2 that don't take any damage from Atomic Fire. So I'm actually going to test again if Bubble Man does indeed get healed by the Atomic Fire. So I'm going to hit him a few times. Okay, now let's use the Atomic Fire on him and see if it does anything. And it didn't heal him. Maybe a fully charged shot will heal him. Let's see. Alright, wait. No, it doesn't heal him, it just doesn't damage him. I swear the Mega Man Wiki, I read up on it, the Mega Man Wiki says it heals him, which is a little weird. Also, no death spikes on the ceiling here, so yeah, again, it's easier than the original fighters. Pretty simple overall, though I'm not doing a great job of dodging him. Again, just stay close to him, and if the bubbles he shoots will just go over your head, it's not really that big of a deal. And the harpoons aren't that bad to dodge, and then they do 2 damage anyway, so yeah, pretty easy boss fight. Now, this time when we're fighting Heatman, I believe I actually do in fact know Heatman is healed by his own weapon, which makes sense. So I'm going to show that off here real quick. So let's do a couple of damage to him. Get the atomic fire out. And let's heal good old Heat Man. And there we go, fully healed him. I believe no matter how much health he's on, he will always be healed to full health, even if you just hit him once, which is pretty interesting. And in addition to that, if we... Oh, I don't have any Crash Bomb. Oh, I was about to... Because I used it all on the Boo Beam Trap. That's the name of the boss of the 4th Wily stage, Boo Beam Trap. I didn't say that. But Crash Bomb also heals Heat Man. He is the only Robot Master in the series that's healed by 2 weapons then, apparently. Because I know Bubble Man is healed by his own weapon as well, the Bubble Lead. And apparently he was supposed to be healed by the Atomic Fire, but that turned out not to be true as it is tested. So, yeah, Heat Man healed by both Atomic Fire and Crash Bomb. That's pretty cool. And seeing as Atomic Fire is his own weapon and you can't use it on him originally, this means that Heat Man is the only Robot Master in the series that you can actually heal in the original fight and not the rematches by using the Crash Bomb. Because I'm pretty sure all the other Robot Masters in the series that are healed by a weapon are healed by their own weapon. And there's only a few of them anyway. Like, what other ones are there? I'm not even sure. I feel like maybe there's one in Mega Man 9 that's healed by their own weapon? There's only a couple of other ones, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, yeah, with that, defeating all 8 Robot Masters, again, brings us through the Dr. Wily machine. We're bringing it back from the first game. The pattern for the first phase here is quite simple. He just sort of goes back and forth, shoots out some shots, no big deal. And he's actually weak to Atomic Fire, so yeah, pretty easy. And the second phase, I'm not sure how weak he is to the Atomic Fire. Is it even hitting him? I'm just going to quickly use an E-Tank because I'm very low on health and I'm not even sure if it's hitting him. Okay, got a spare life. Does this hit him? It's not hitting him. It's not doing any damage. I guess I gotta use the Mega Buster then, because yeah, it's genuinely not doing anything. I'm gonna have to use another E-Tank in that case because I've already taken a lot of damage. I think I can take one more hit, yeah. Okay, let's use that E-Tank. And oh my goodness, hopefully I don't die because I still haven't done that much damage to him. Come on. Okay, that was a good amount of damage. I need to focus, because if I get game over, it's all the way back to the start of the boss rush. That's still a thing. Alright, there we go. But with that, he actually escapes. That is not the final boss of the game. The floor explodes, and we head into the 6th and final stage of Dr. Wily's Castle, the secret one. There is a second skull, a hidden one, which wasn't there originally. And as we drop down at the stage, you will hear there is no music. This is the only Mega Man stage ever that doesn't have music, and of course, it's done that way to build the suspense. You know, what is this? Where are we? We're in some dark, dank chamber here, after defeating what we thought was the final boss, but no, in fact, we have more stuff to deal with. Specifically, these little lava drops, or at least that's what I presume they are. They could be blood, but I'm not going to use that mentality, because that's pretty damn dark. Pretty damn dark. But yeah, if you do die against the, Wily machine. Oh, geez, that does a lot of damage. If you do game over to the Wily machine, it does send you all the way back to the start of the boss rush, so it's still pretty unforgiving in that regard, but it's still more forgiving than Mega Man 1 was overall. And I've taken a lot of damage. I'm gonna have to, like, do no damage on the boss coming up here. Because, yeah, that's the entire stage. Really short stage. And I'm actually not gonna use Atomic Fire. Because there's only one weapon which works against the final boss, and that's the Bubble Lead, funnily enough. Maybe not what you'd expect. There he is! The Doctor himself in his epic pose. And oh my god, he's an alien! The twist of the century. Dr. Wily is actually an alien. And with that, we enter the final boss of Mega Man 2. This lovely starry background flying around. Really epic, to be honest. And yeah, he does just a basic figure 8 pattern. It's really not that tough to dodge, and he just shoots every now and then. It's not hard, to be perfectly frank. I mean, I struggled with the movement a lot when I first played this game, but it's a pretty easy final boss, and it only has the one phase. Bubble Lead only does 1 damage though, so it does take a while. And of course, because of its arching pattern, you have to hit him when he's at the lowest point in the middle there. I'm actually going to demonstrate something though. If you hit him with any weapon other than the Bubble Lead, this is what happens. Fully healed, any weapon other than the Bubble Lead. I was talking before about weapons that heal bosses. Well, there you go. Every weapon heals the final boss of Mega Man 2 except the Bubble Lead, which is the only one that hurts him. I'm not gonna show off every single weapon healing him, because that would be a bit redundant. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. But yeah, just trust me, it's true. Every weapon heals him. Yeah, I've seen people who got to this boss in, like, blind playthroughs of the game, and they tried every weapon except the Bubble Lead, because they're just like, nah, the final boss isn't weak to bubbles, come on, man. They just, like, miss the Bubble Lead. They're like, oh, Metal Blade works at everything, let's just use that, and then they're like, what? Doesn't work? I like how his rib cage flashes in and out like that too. That's pretty eerie, to be perfectly honest. It's very skeletal in a way, almost like a corpse of an alien. Luckily, I'm not going to run out of bubble lead here, because if you do, it's curtains for you. There we go. Seizure-inducing flashing lights, and that is the end of Mega Man 2. That is the final boss. We are down. And as it is revealed that it was an illusion all along, it was secretly a hologram. Dr. Wily is not an alien. The twist of the century isn't really a twist. Or the twist of the century is the fact that the twist of the century wasn't the twist of the century. If you get my meaning. Oh my goodness. But yeah, with that, Dr. Wily's defeated, and he does the classic grovel for mercy, just like he did in the first game. Always does that at the end of every game. Just, it's tradition, man, tradition. And with that, we just sort of, walk away, whatever. Don't even arrest Dr. Wily or anything. I mean, we did that in the first game as well, whatever. When will you learn, Mega Man? But yeah, we're in Atomic Fire colors, representing this lovely challenge run, which I have done. Good old Atomic Fire only. With a nice view of a village in the background as well. And oh, it's shifted from autumn to winter. We're now in bubble lead colors. I really like this ending here. It's got some sweet melancholy music. Out spring, you got the cherry blossoms and quick boomerang colors. It's a very nice ending, but I'm not really sure what it's supposed to mean. Mega Man just sort of walking sadly away. All the melancholy music, and summer now with the rain in air shooter colors. And then Mega Man just sort of looks up, and then it zooms out, or doesn't so much zoom out, as we get a better view of the village, like that, and Mega Man leaves his helmet. So with the sad music and the fact that his helmet is left there, it sort of implies that he's quit being a hero, which is kind of weird, because he comes back in full force in Mega Man 3. I really don't know what that ending is supposed to mean. But yeah, here we are. They actually list the numbers of the Robot Masters. Metal Man, number 9, number 10, Airman. This is the exact order I went through the Robot Masters when playing the game. Now you must be wondering, what are these names here? There weren't any voice actors for these characters. Oh, Takashi Tanaka, I love that name. These names are actually the names of the designers of the Robot Masters. Because in all the games from Mega Man 2 through 8, all the Robot Masters were designed by fans, actually, who sent in their designs. Akira Yoshida, cool name too. Yeah, the fans sent in their designs to Capcom, and Capcom obviously did some touching up, some changes to their designs a little bit, but the bare essence of these Robot Masters were designed by fans in a competition, and these lucky 8 people got chosen out of hundreds, I think even thousands of submissions. I mean, some of them are sort of obvious ideas, like Airman. Like, there's probably tons of Airman submissions, but that particular one by that one guy must have captured Capcom's attention and been like, oh yeah, let's work with that and, refine the design a little bit. I don't know how similar the original drawn designs were by the fans to how they ended up being in the game. I really don't. I mean, maybe I could do some research online and try and find the original pictures or something. They actually include the original pictures in Mega Man 8 as part of the credits because, that game has sophisticated enough technology to do photographic scans, but this is a NES game, so yeah, that's not happening. Here's all the names. Can't forget Fishman at the end of this. Everyone points out Fishman. Where is he? Come on, come on. Bring him on, boys. Bring him on. Where is he? Come on. I'm waiting in suspense here. There he is, Fishman. Oh, the greatest pseudonym ever. Thank you for playing. Oh, back in the days when games actually thanked you for playing. Yeah, man, I mean, you gotta thank me. I mean, I played your bloody game. I didn't have to play your game. Okay, I did have to play your game because it's so bloody good. Yeah, there you go. Presented by Capcom USA. That is the end of Mega Man 2. Final thoughts on the game and this challenge as a whole. Mega Man 2 really does improve in pretty much every way possible over the first game, and it still has flaws to it, like Wily Stage 4. And then running out of item 1 at that one part in Wily Stage 1 can be incredibly irritating and annoying to have to farm for energy or just, get your lives back. And it just has overall really high difficulty spikes at random moments, like Quickman's lasers and Heatman's blocks. But that's part of what makes the game so memorable to many people, I think. So in that regard, maybe it's not all bad, even if it isn't the best designed. I definitely still prefer Mega Man 3, though. Oh, I'm excited for that, and we're going into Mega Man 3 next time. I like it even more than this game. Soundtrack-wise, yeah, this game has an even better soundtrack than Mega Man 1, and Mega Man 1 has a fantastic soundtrack, so that is definitely saying something. I mean, the Dr. Wily Stage 1-2 music is just mind-blowingly good, and just even the whole rest of the soundtrack for a lot of it is just so fantastic. Really, the only true letdown is that Wily Stage 3 Thor theme, which is actually quite a long theme, which I guess is a praise I could give for it, but just so monotonous and ear-piercing to certain degrees. But I mean, that's just one blemish, and otherwise fantastic soundtrack. And it's the same with a lot of those other blemishes this game has. It's just no game is perfect, you know, it's all going to have its flaws, and Mega Man 2 I think is a prime example of a game that does have numerous flaws, but it's still just a downright fantastic and extremely fun game to play, so that's my opinion. In terms of Atomic Fire only, it really was a lot easier than Rolling Cutter only was, and to be honest, I think maybe part of that is because of uncharged Atomic Fire shots act a lot like Mega Buster shots, which is what I'm used to, but even at the same time, I don't think using that many of the other weapons would have been a lot harder, to be perfectly frank. Crash Bomb, if I had infinite ammo, and I would have had to, because it only has 7 uses if you don't have infinite ammo, which would be impossible to do a full run with. I reckon that would have been easy with infinite ammo, even though the weapon is rather cumbersome to use at times, and then just a lot of other weapons that I don't think would be that hard to do. You know, Metal Blade, Quick Boomerang, a Flash Stopper. That would be impossible to beat the game with just the Flash Stopper. So well, it's actually called the Time Stopper, but you know, it should be called the Flash Stopper. When we get to Mega Man 4, there's a bit of a stupid thing that happens in that game regarding to weapon naming, which I'll call back to the Time Stopper in this game. You probably know what you're talking about if you've beaten Brightman in Mega Man 4 before. Anyway, yeah, I think it's just that the overall weapon selection in this game is a little bit easier to handle than the first game. A little bit better balanced. Metal Blade is still very OP, but it's not like the first game where, like, Elecman and Fireman's weapons are just fantastic, and Gutsman's and Bombman's weapons are just utter pieces of trash, pretty much. I think every weapon in this game has some degree of use, even if some are better than others. You know, like Bubble Lead isn't as good as Quick Boomerang, but Bubble Lead still has a good amount of uses for you. And I mean, there's always going to be some weapons that you prefer over others, or are just going to be objectively better than others. Mega Man 9 does a fantastic job with its weapons. All the weapons in that game are very useful, but even then, some are better than others. I mean, it's just always going to be the case. So balance is a little better with the weapon selection in this game. Still not the best. I feel like probably even they didn't even quite get a better balance with weapons until Mega Man 4. Actually, 3 still has somewhat of a problem with that, but hey man, I guess you can't win them all. But yeah, Atomic Fire only. It was a good bit of fun. It was a good bit of fun. Bit interesting. Not quite as interesting and intriguing as Rolling Cutter only was, to be frank. But yeah, it was definitely a fun playthrough overall. Next time when I'll be doing Mega Man 3, I will probably be doing it Search Snake only, as far as I'm aware at the moment. I mean, I might change my thoughts. There are other weapons which could be considered interesting, but they have actually been done on YouTube before, and I want to try to do something more unique and original. I don't think Search Snake only has ever been done before. I might change it at the last minute to another weapon, but I can't imagine that. Search Snake seems to be the most interesting choice that hasn't been done on YouTube yet, so that'll probably be the case. That won't be for a little while. I'm actually going away on holiday for a week now. That's why I haven't been putting up like any videos this week, because I didn't want to finish Mega Man 2 in the finale here and then like start another project only to have it interrupted midway through because I'm going away for a week. So once I come back from my week's holiday, I will be commencing another project, which I think may be a Spyro game. I'm not too certain on that at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Spyro game, and of course Spyro 3D platformer. If you like platformers like Mega Man, make sure to check out whatever game I'll be playing there. I'm thinking of doing the 4th Spyro game semi-blind, because I've only played a bit of that game before, and I really want to play the rest of it, and I just thought it'd be nice to capture my first impressions of a lot of this stuff and get it up on the old YouTubes. So yeah, once that week's over, that's what will be happening, and then immediately following that project will be Mega Man 3, because again, I'm doing Mega Man, one game, Mega Man, another game, you know, alternating on and off, and that's how things are going to work. So until then, this has been the end of Mega Man 2. If you press start, it takes you back to the title screen, or it takes you back to here. Well, if I can press start and go immediately back to the title screen. There we go. Yeah, very, very convenient, very easy if you just want to play the game again immediately, and given how good this game is, you might want to do that. I might even do that off camera right now. It's enticing me. Alright, until next time, this is Fruity, signing off.